Dear friends, my name is Nausheen, and in today's session we are going to discuss another aspect of public debt, and that is whether there is burden of public debt on an economy. There are a lot of opinions and lot of debates about the burden of public debt, whether public debt imposes any burden on the community concerned or any portion thereof, and also whether the burden, if any, of the public debt can be shifted to a subsequent generation. There are also debates about which type of public debt is more burdensome, whether it's internal debt or external debt, whether it is short term debt or long term debt. So, there are views of several economists. One of the economists, Professor Domer, has held that burden of public debt should be defined as a ratio of total debt to total national income. So, if the total amount of national income is constant and the total amount of public debt keeps on increasing consistently, obviously the burden of public debt will increase. But if national income also rises by a constant absolute amount, together with the increase in the amount of public debt, then you may think that public debt is remaining constant. And if public debt remains nearly constant and national income keep on increasing, then that implies that public debt may be reducing. So there are several arguments of economists and thinkers on the burden of public debt. It was also thought that a large amount of public debt requires a correspondingly large amount of tax collection, and this may adversely affect the work incentives and even savings incentives of the people. There is also another view which says that burden of public debt can manifest itself in the economy in the form of increasing inequality of income distribution, because the people who give loan to the people who give loan to the government, whether it's the state government or the central government, are actually the richer people. So the bondholders are generally the richer people. So they also get back the interest income in addition to the loan that they have given to the government, and so in a way they are better off. So let's discuss this topic, burden of public debt, and how this burden can be reduced in detail. So the reason why the term burden is used is because in order to repay the loans taken internally or from external sources, government may have to resort to some other alternative practice, such as increasing tax or reducing expenditure. Both of them can be a burden to the government. You all know that what may be the effect of high tax burden. It may reduce the work incentives of the people, it may reduce the savings of the people, and in the long run that may reduce the overall investment in the economy. It may not be good for the welfare, it may increase the inequalities of income between the rich and the poor, and in general it acts as it discourages the stimulation of economic activity. The effect of reduced expenditure is also not very positive. So if government tries significantly to reduce its expenditure, its revenues remaining constant, that also would mean that government would be spending comparatively less on health, education and other social sectors. So the schemes for public welfare will take a setback, and so the overall well-being of the people will reduce. It also may imply that development expenditures may reduce, due to which the infrastructural expansion or development may get affected. So depending upon the expenditure heads on which a reduction is induced, the economy or some parts of the economy will get affected. Internal debt can indirectly affect private investment. That is also true. So internal debt is taken directly from the people, and that may impact the people as well as the bankers, the institutions, the business houses who give loans to the government. They all get affected. Higher interest burden often leads to lower funds for education, health, family welfare, etc. So when government is taking loans from the public, whether it's taking internally or externally, they have to repay the loan, and generally the interest rate is also high. Now, in order to accumulate money for even interest payments, government may have to reduce funds in some of the sectors, which may affect the overall welfare of the public. Excessive government borrowings can create liquidity problems, leading to high interest rates. External debt repayment can create monetary load. So when government is borrowing excessively, it also implies that money is passing on from the hands of the public or the business houses to the government, which means that liquidity would reduce in the hands of the people, and that may also imply that interest rates may rise. External debt repayment can create monetary load, that is definitely true, because when external debt is taken, whether it's from IMF, World Bank, Asian Development Bank or any other external agency, interest payments have to be made even to them. And the contracts of the loan contract between government and the external institutions is more formal in nature, and it has to be obliged on a timely manner. Now, burden of public debt may also lead to debt trap. So often funds are utilized for non-development and unproductive purposes. This can be a very risky situation when public loans are taken for, say, war purposes, for financing the war expenditures, or they are being taken to finance uh, the transfer payments of the government to the dependents in the population, because these expenditures are being made without in return of any other economic activity, so they do not generate income on their own. Many times countries which are highly indebted borrow funds to repay its earlier debt. So this is the debt trap. If the countries are borrowing more debt in order to repay their previous debt, that is automatically indicating that the country has fallen into a debt trap. These heavy borrowings to repay earlier debts may put already highly indebted countries in an external debt trap. And actually, in 2010, some countries were affected by this. Some European countries, such as Portugal, Italy, Spain, and Ireland. Even the Dubai debt crisis had an impact on the international community, because they were resorting on external debt in order to repay other debts. So the paying of the external debt puts a liability on foreign exchange reserves of a nation. They tend to reduce, and if foreign exchange reserves are reducing over a period of time, then that may also indicate that the country is moving towards a crisis situation. So international crisis often leads to a contagion effect. So if there is a crisis in one country, say there is a crisis in US or there is a crisis in Dubai, whoever are the trading partners of Dubai or US will also get equally affected by the financial crisis in such countries. And that is the disadvantage of globalization. So it implies that if one country is getting affected, one country is experiencing crisis, the other countries are also affected. Internal debt, that is why, is considered to be less burdensome as compared to external debt, because internal debt is taken from the domestic institutions, banks, and individuals, and the terms of internal debt may be slightly flexible compared to the terms of external debt. So it's advocated that a country, if it has to raise more debt, should not resort to external debt, rather than it should increase internal debt provisions. Now, how can one reduce burden of public debt? There are some alternatives which are recommended for reducing public debt. One is to reduce revenue expenditure. So, revenue expenditure should be in tandem, it should be equal to revenue receipts of the government. And if revenue expenditure is higher than the revenue receipts, then that should be a signal that the government may be reaching a stage where it will have to borrow public debt. So, reducing revenue expenditure implies reducing all those kinds of expenditures which are for the development activities for the state government, which the central government may transfer to the state government, and reducing all those plans, expenditure plans for the next 1 or 2 financial years, so that judiciously revenue receipts can be used as per the targets of revenue deficit. So state governments and central government need to constantly stick to their revenue deficit targets and try to maintain the revenue budget in surplus, if not on deficit. So the second option, the second alternative is raising foreign investment. Foreign investment here we mean foreign direct investment or foreign institutional investment. Raising foreign direct investment would actually help the economy because more money will, more foreign capital will come in the country, and that will increase the liquidity of the banks as well as the government. The third alternative is disinvestment of sick public sector units. So those public sector enterprises which have been in a loss since a long period of time, it is important that the government should think of plan of disinvesting them. That means passing on its ownership from public sector to private sector, because continuing expenditure incurrence on such sick public sector units is unproductive. It doesn't give any return to the government. So it's better to pass on that enterprise in the hands of the private sector. Fourth alternative is monitor public expenditures. There's a need for setting up a monitoring agency for checking, for keeping a constant check on the trends in public expenditures, and to arrest any outliers or any high public expenditures which may be burdensome for the government. And the last alternative for reducing public debt is need to create consolidated sinking fund. So this consolidated sinking fund is basically a fund which has been created to reduce the burden of public debt, and this fund may be entirely utilized for servicing public debt. So these are the 5 broad alternatives which are generally suggested by economists and in economic theory to reduce the burden of public debt. Governments in general make a judicious mix of these solutions, including the Indian government. With this, we come towards the end of our session, and in the next session we will discuss in detail what are the trends in India's public debt since the last few years. Till then, all of you take care and have a great time. Thank you for your patient listening.